If you've ever worked from home, you definitely know that feeling. That moment of pure frustration when your connection just gives up on you. Well, today we're going to tackle one of the biggest culprits behind that headache, something called VPN flapping. So, let's figure out what it is and, more importantly, how to fix it.
You know the scene, right? You're in the middle of a super important video call, or you're just about to save that massive file you've been working on all day, and poof, nothing. The connection dies and you're booted off the company network. It's so disruptive, incredibly annoying, and for a lot of us, it happens way too often.
So let's think about your VPN for a second. The easiest way to picture it is like a private super secure tunnel. It runs over the regular old public internet, but it connects your computer directly and safely to your office network. It's the magic that lets you access all your company's files and resources as if you were sitting right there at your desk. But the problem we're digging into today is what happens when that tunnel just keeps collapsing and rebuilding itself over and over again.
Okay, so let's put a proper name to this frustrating problem. What exactly is VPN flapping? Because it's more than just a random disconnect, it's a very specific and maddening pattern of instability.
So in simple terms, VPN flapping is when your connection gets up and running, it works for a little bit, and then, bam, it drops. A few seconds later, it reconnects, only to drop again. This creates this incredibly unstable link that makes getting any actual work done feel totally impossible.
This cycle right here, connect, drop, reconnect, drop, that's the telltale sign of flapping. The key thing to remember is that this isn't just a one-time thing. No, it's a persistent, repeating failure. And it happens because the little bits of data, the packets, are getting lost or seriously delayed somewhere on their trip between your computer and the office server.
All right, so if your VPN is flapping, the next big question is why? Why is this happening? The good news is the causes usually fall into one of three main buckets. So let's put on our detective hats and take a look at the usual suspects.
First up, the problem might not even be your VPN's fault. It could be the network is running on. You know, an unstable home internet connection, maybe some serious congestion out there on the wider internet, or even a sudden change in how your data is being routed. Any of that can be enough to break the tunnel. Heck, even your own firewall or antivirus software could be getting it wrong, thinking your VPN traffic is a threat and blocking it.
Now, you'd be surprised how often the problem is just a simple typo or a settings mismatch. Seriously, if the IP addresses or the network ranges, we call those subnets, are off, or if the encryption settings on your end don't perfectly match what the server expects, the two sides just can't keep a stable conversation going. This can also be caused by something with a bit of a dramatic name, dead peer detection. It's a feature that's supposed to check if the other end is still online, but if its settings are too aggressive, it might just prematurely declare the connection dead, especially when you're connecting gear from two different companies.
And finally, the issue might be right there on your own machine. It could be a piece of hardware that's starting to fail, a bug in an old, outdated VPN program, or something technical called stale security associates. Basically, think of those as old, leftover security keys from a previous connection that are getting stuck in the system and causing a whole lot of confusion.
Okay, so we know the what and we know the why. Now let's get to the most important part. How do you actually fix it? Let's walk through a checklist of things you can do to solve this.
Always start with the simple stuff. First, just double and triple check all your configuration settings, your IPs, your subnets, the encryption methods, all of it. If that all looks good, then it's time to test the network path. You can use handy little tools like ping and traceroute to look for packet loss. After that, check your general internet stability. Is everything else working okay? Then you can start digging into the logs from your VPN client and your firewall, looking for specific error messages. And of course, make sure your software is up to date. And as a last resort, try clearing out those old security associations we talked about.
So, to wrap this all up, let's boil everything down into a quick reference guide. You can think of this as your first response cheat sheet for the next time your connection starts getting all shaky.
This little chart here is your new best friend. If your connection is just dropping now and then, intermittently, you should probably suspect your internet provider first. If it just flat out won't connect at all, go straight to your VPN configuration and firewall logs. If it got all unstable right after some kind of update, well, then the software is a likely culprit. And if you know you're connecting two different brands of hardware, those dead peer detection settings we mentioned, yeah, that's often the first place to look.
So, the next time you feel that remote work frustration starting to creep in, you'll be armed with the knowledge to actually fight back.
Instead of just restarting everything and hoping for the best, you can now ask the right question. What's the weakest link in your connection?